Welcome and congratulations to the class of 2022 and a few select members of the class of 2021 and the class of 2020. We invited our previous 2 years graduates to come celebrate with us in person, as this is our first in-person graduation since December of 2018. A reception, reminder to our audience that a reception will follow the ceremony, and graduates, when we call you up, we will call you up by name to receive your diploma. You can say a few quick words if you wish, and also we'll try to snap some photos of you receiving your diploma to share afterwards, but parents and loved ones, please feel free to come up and get close and get a good photo as your loved one is receiving their diploma. Well, graduates, you have completed a rigorous course of study and grown as scholars and more broadly as humans. You've completed our quote-unquote Starfleet Academy, and in astrophysics or planetary sciences, or for some gluttons of punishment, both, you've learned everything about from subatomic particles to the cosmic horizon, some 13.8 billion years distant. While you've accumulated a great deal of knowledge, the most important skills you've gained are that you've learned how to think critically, how to think scientifically. You've learned how to approach difficult problems and how to learn on your own. You've also embraced the discomfort of the unknown, and that in science we disprove or support hypotheses, but we are always open to revising our theories based on new evidence. Your skills make you much sought after in a wide variety of professions, including teaching, research, innovating, and creating policy. Beyond skills, as part of your liberal arts education here in the College of Arts and Sciences at CU Boulder, you've gained perspective and insight into humanity's place in the universe. Astronomy is an age-old human endeavor and a field that touches us all. You are now experts and ambassadors with a truly cosmic perspective. Congratulations. I'd now like to introduce our Fisk Theater Manager, Nick Conant, and our Fisk Director, Professor John Keller, for the astronomy presentation.
Thank you very much, Nils. This is the first time as a director at Fisk Planetarium I've been invited to give a graduation talk. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to share. First of all, congratulations, all of you graduates. It's been wonderful working with you over the course of this class. You are, to share with your families, you are at Fisk Planetarium, where you've spent many of your class hours. This is the largest theater in the United States at a university. It also has an exit sign right here, which I'm supposed to point out is not over a door. It is to the right of the door, to the left of the door, so if you need to exit, please walk to the right of the door. If we had been doing this ceremony in the 12th century, or maybe the 13th century, around 1200 or 1300 AD, let's say we're at Oxford or Cambridge, we may have been in a similar space as you see today, except for the buildings would have been different, but the regalia would have been the same, and we would have given you perhaps a talk about the universe that we live in. And you can see here this universe that is moving. And I probably would have taught you about the four major elements that make up our world, right? Earth, air, fire, and water, the substances of the substance of our earth. And I also would have talked about quintessence, the fifth element, right? The fifth element of quintessence, which carries the heavens around us in perfect circles. The sun, the moon, the 5 other planets along with the sun and the moon, they all orbit around us in perfect harmony and perfect circles, in unity and in wonder. And we, as graduates from this university of the 12th century, are very much the center of this entire universe we live in. And actually very true. This is the center. The center of today's ceremony is today. We are the center of the universe as we watch this universe spiral around us. I may have also shown you in the sky, and I may have shown you as well various constellations. I may have shown you Leo the Lion. I may have shown you Virgo, this great constellation in the sky. Two important constellations, not for their shapes or their mythologies necessarily, but because they're actually where the sun travels throughout the year, and where the moon travels and where the planets travel. They're part of the zodiac, right? They're part of the sky. They're part of the sky where our sun and our planets move through. I may have also pointed out this bright star, and I wouldn't have really known at the time that it was 26 light years away, but this star behind us is the star Vega, and for those of you graduates, right, Vega, you know, is actually 26 light years away, so the light from your birth, many of you, is still traveling to Vega right now. It hasn't actually even made it to this star up in the sky of the summer triangle. I definitely would have shared with you the wonder of Galactos, right? Galactos, the Milky Way, right? The Milky Way that we live in. And we would have wondered about the Milky Way, right? Because it's this magical, yet just brilliant, glowing celestial phenomenon of the sky making up our galaxy, and we would have talked about the Milky Way. We may not have talked about Scorpio. Well, we would have talked about Scorpio and Sagittarius. We may not have talked about Sagittarius A at the time, but we would have definitely appreciated and admired the beauty of the Milky Way. And then I definitely, during this graduation talk of the 12th century, would have pointed out, and for graduates, I apologize, Nick might rotate the dome a little bit for us more, but way behind your necks, I would have definitely pointed out these 5 bright stars, right? These 5 bright planets. 5 of the 7 planets, the sun and the moon, 2 of the planets, along with Mercury and Venus and Jupiter and Mars and Saturn. Those were the main planets of the sky. Those were the wanderers. Those are the things that moved around in the sky, in the zodiac, across the zodiac, through Capricorn and through Aquarius and through Pisces, through those stars of the zodiac that were important. Astronomy was very much central to those days, right? The philosophy of our universe and where we lived and breathed and lived out our days. And that was the lecture you might have gotten about 1,000 years ago. Now, fast forward to 2022, we still have just as wonderful of a universe, but we've been able to extend even beyond that. And using the wonders of Fisk, we're now going to take you through a quick tour of all of those spaces we've just seen from this perspective down here on the Earth to take you through the cosmos that you have all been studying and working through for the last 4 years and 5 years here at CU Boulder. The place where you did that was here, right? On Tierra, right? On Earth. On that place made of earth, air, fire, and water, and not quintessence. And right here specifically this location, right outside of the Front Range, or in the Front Range, outside of Denver, on our planet. And we now, in the 21st century, can now zoom back and know that we have actually sent humans off of our planetary surface to the region of this far in our universe, right here. That is the distance to the surface of that is the distance to the moon, right? So we've made it to this location in our entire universe. We've traveled a whole 1.5 light seconds away from our planet to land humans on the moon. And within this decade, we will be landing the first woman and person of color on the moon with the Artemis mission, the Artemis 1 mission, in the next decade. Just beyond the moon, and this is a very important event that has happened in the 4 years that you've been here, we had the successful launch of the James Webb Space Telescope, which is now located right here, 4 Earth-Moon distances away from the moon, and it has successfully now made it to that part of our neighborhood out here in the L2 point to basically be in a position where it can actually get signatures of the infrared signatures of our galaxy and teach us, and our universe, and teach us much, much more than we've ever seen before using the James Webb telescope. That's a really important accomplishment of the last 4 years, and actually the last 20 years, right? Because we've been trying to get the James Webb launched for many, many decades. We can now zoom even further back to show you the other planets, including the planet Mars, where another important mission in the 4 years that you've been here has landed on the surface of that planet, the Perseverance rover, or Perseverance rover, landing on the surface of Mars. This is an animation or cartoon of Perseverance, but it is now studying and actually collecting the very first rock samples that we're actually going to bring back from the surface of Mars and bring them back to the Earth so we can actually study them in laboratories. This is our solar system that we now know we are not the center of. The sun is the center of, so that has definitely changed in the last 1,000 years. And Nick is going to now tilt the orientation of this and show us the structure of that solar system. And importantly, is actually this disk with the background of the zodiac that gives us that explanation of why 1,000 years ago we would have talked about the zodiac, right? This orientation of our solar system with the planets traveling along an ecliptic, along a very flat plane, lines up perfectly with those constellations, and that's what makes them so special. We could then continue to back up even further away from our center in the universe. And that star that we pointed out, that star Vega over here in the summer triangle, as we back away from our position in the sun, you'll start to notice that stars like Vega, which are close by, move a lot faster than stars that are farther away, and we're now moving away from our position, our home here around Sol. Nick's going to pull up, amidst all of these stars, these are the stars in our neighborhood of the Milky Way, he's going to pull up the extrasolar planets that have been discovered as well in just the last 30 years. And so every colored dot that is not white, every red dot and blue dot and yellow dot, those are actually star systems that have extrasolar planets that we now know of. Several thousands of planets. In fact, we think that for every one of the 100 billion stars in our galaxy, there's about 100 billion planets, with one planet per star system. The Kepler mission specifically studied this little neighborhood, looking out towards that patch of our Milky Way. And all of these are known systems with planets. And then as we finish this pull back out of our little solar system, we make it to, of course, Galactos. And this is what Aristotle and all of our ancient astronomers of the world would have noticed and known about. Galactos, but this is Galactos as envisioned from what we think it looks like. Of course, we've never been here. We've never made it out this far. Even you graduates haven't made it to this part of the galaxy. But this is what we think this is our galaxy we live in, and this is, we live in the middle of this disk, somewhere over here. And this barred spiral here is in the direction of Sagittarius, and specifically Sagittarius A is known to be a supermassive black hole with several billions worth of stars inside of millions of stars inside of that central point of our galaxy. And stay tuned, because I hear word of an important discovery being announced soon, within the next week actually, potentially related to this part of our universe. Of course, this was the extent of our galaxy that we lived in back then, and we now know that this is just one of many other hundreds of billions of galaxies, so we can pull back even further from our cosmic home to start to show you other galaxies that make up our universe. As we pull back, we're moving clearly much, much faster than the speed of light, because of course this would be a very long tour and graduation would never end if we didn't go any faster than that. But Nick is showing us several of the galaxies in our local group, like Andromeda, and he has just pulled up other actual galaxies that have been mapped out in our universe. He can actually make those galaxies bigger to show us what they look like. These are pictures of those actual galaxies, right? And these are all islands of hundreds of billions of stars each. And as we pull back, I'll need Nick's help here, but we're actually going to pull back past here. And is this it? Almost there? Right here, this is back looking at Virgo. We started our talk today looking at the constellation of Virgo. This is the Virgo supercluster in the direction of Virgo. And in the heart of this supercluster, there's a galaxy known as M87, or an object known as M87. And M87 is a place where we've taken the first image using radio waves of a supermassive black hole. So now we actually have images of what it looks like in the neighborhood of a black hole. This is actually magnetic field lines coming off of that black hole, and the size of the solar system would be this big for this perspective. Our whole little solar system we've explored is that big in this picture. Finally, I'm going to ask Nick to pull back even farther and as quickly as he can, because I know you guys really just want to graduate. But everything in this image right here is a galaxy. 100 billion stars per dot, each maybe with 100 billion planets. And this is just the beginning of it, right? This is just the section of it around our neighborhood of the universe. We're going to pull back so far that you'll start to notice that the galaxies seem to fade away, and we start to see this edge of the universe. Like, oh wait, but that's not the edge because there's more. And here's another study, another survey with even more galaxies. And so we get to an edge here where we start to see less and less galaxies, but that's not because they're there. That's not because they're not there. It's because they're too far away, or they've been redshifted. The light from the galaxies have been redshifted too far into the infrared and the radio that we can't see them anymore. And this is why James Webb is going to be so important, right? James Webb is going to let us see farther back in time than we've ever seen before, because we've been only really using Hubble to use visible and ultraviolet light. We'll be able to see even further back into the universe. That completes our tour of this place we live in. And you may say, well, why? And of course, it's bathed in this glowing radiation from the original origin of the universe. But everything we know of and everything that we studied is in this part of the universe. And this is what your graduates have been spending the last 4 years of their lives learning more about. Thankfully, they will be able to give you more guidance on all of the things we've just talked about, because they have learned all of these things. And as we zoom back in, Nick's going to slow down a little bit for us. Importantly, from this vantage point, if we stop there, Nick, this part, like, what's so special about this picture? This is what we know our universe to be right now. There's a lot of things we aren't showing, like dark matter and dark energy. But if we can pan back to that other orientation, the reason it looks that way is because we are taking this picture from where we live. We live inside of the Milky Way. These gaps, these regions where you don't see stars, that's not because there's not stuff there. It's because our Milky Way gets in the way. We can't actually see this part of the universe and that part of the universe because the dust from our galaxy, from Galactos, is blocking us from seeing it. And what's really important about this picture for me is that we really are still the center of the universe from the perspective of this is where we see it from. That's our home in this vast part of the universe. Every part of the universe is part of the universe, of course, and is the center of the universe. So that aliens from up here and down there in their galaxies would also see similar pictures, but they would see their version. And so we all see the universe from where we see it, from our perspectives, but we're all part of one giant cosmic space. Nick is going to very gradually zoom us back to our galaxy. And I wanted to briefly read just a couple of lines from a poem that was actually written on Twitter. It's the first ever Twitter poem I've ever read. But this is a poem, if I can pull up the light to see it. It is by Katie Mack, an astrophysicist from North Carolina State University, called Disorientation. I want to make you dizzy. I want to make you look up into the sky and comprehend, maybe for the first time, the darkness that lies beyond the evanescent wisp of the atmosphere, the endless depths of the cosmos, a desolation by degrees. I want the earth to turn beneath you and knock you off your balance, carry you eastward at 1,000 miles an hour into the light and the dark and the light again. I want you to watch the earth rise up to meet you and the rays of the morning sky, of the morning sun. I want the sky to stop you dead in your tracks on your way home tonight, because you happen to glance up and among all the shining pinpricks you recognize one as the light of an alien world. I want you to taste the iron in your blood and see its likeness in the red rust sands of the long dry dunes of Mars, born of the same nebular dust that coalesced random flotsam of stellar debris into rocks, oceans, and your beating heart. I want you to see the world from 4 billion miles away, a tiny glint of blue in the sharp white light of an ordinary star in the darkness. I want you to try to make out the boundaries of your nation from that vantage point and fail. I want you to feel it in your bones, in your breath, when 2 black holes colliding 1 billion light years away send a tremor through space-time that makes every cell in your body stretch and strain. I want you to make your I want to make you nurse nostalgia for the stars long dead, the ones that fused your carbon nuclei, and the ones whose last thermonuclear death throes outshined the entire galaxy to send a single photon into your eye. I want you to live forever. I want you to live forward, but to see backward, farther and deeper into this past, because in a relativistic universe, you don't have any other choice. I want the stale billion-year-old starlight of a distant galaxy to be your reward. I want you to utterly disorient you and let you navigate back by the stars. I want you to lose yourself and find it again, not just here, but everywhere in everything. I want to make you wonder what is out there, what dreams may come in waves of radiation across the breadth of an endless expanse, what we may know given time, and what splendors might never, ever reach us. I want you to make it mean something to you, that you are in the cosmos, that you are of the cosmos, that you are born from stardust, and to stardust you will return, that you are a way for the universe to be in awe of itself. To wrap up, Nick's going to show us all of the stars you can see in the night sky tonight from the vantage point we live here in our Earth. These are the bright stars of the night sky. And this is the place where we live. This is our center. This is your center. This is Fisk Planetarium. This is the class of 2022. Everything we have studied and learned, we learned from this little speck of the cosmos. And yet the cosmos we live in is so enormously expansive that we really, really are truly lucky to have shared it with you and for you to have shared it with us. So thank you again, class of 2022, and go off and teach us even more. Thank you.
Thanks, Jon and Nick, for that wonderful presentation. It always makes me feel so small, that perspective. But then I'm reminded of the headline in the satirical paper, The Onion. Astronomer discovers center of the universe in her son, Tommy. And for many of us, our center of the universe is right here in Fisk Planetarium right now. I'd now like to welcome to the stage our undergraduate speaker, Zaina Sheikh.
Thank you, Nils, and thanks everyone for being here. My name is Zaina Sheikh, and I think this might be the final time I say that I am an undergraduate student here at CU with a double major in astronomy and creative technology and design. I'd like to start off by saying a huge thank you to everyone for being here, to my fellow students, the faculty and staff, friends and family. It's so wonderful to be able to gather together to celebrate this moment with all of you. We're also super lucky to be able to have our ceremony at literally the coolest venue on campus. So I want to say thanks to Fisk for having us. I came to CU almost 5 years ago as a freshman in 2017. That fall, days before the semester was set to begin, a total solar eclipse crossed almost the entire continental US. While Boulder, Colorado wasn't in the path of totality, the partial eclipse was still an incredible thing to see. I could wax on about how this was a poetic start to my college experience, but really it was just a freaking cool thing to see in person. Some of my favorite moments here at CU have shown me that the best things about this event is how tangible it can make astronomy feel. We've been observing eclipses for as long as there have been people around to see them, navigating by the motions of the stars and relative positions in the night sky. It was something that humans figured out how to do simply by looking up and asking questions. Some moments here at CU have shown me how we can feel this connection by learning more about the world around us and how it works. From the things like the winds that rip through Boulder to the geologic processes that formed the Flatirons. I'm constantly surprised and confused by learning more. Throughout my undergraduate career, I've had the pleasure of working on a number of astronomy-related projects through the university. We built balloon satellites and sounding rocket payloads with the Colorado Space Grant Consortium, developed research proposals and materials with the Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics, and even painted the emission spectra on the columns in the Fisk lobby outside this room with the Colorado Scholars of Astrophysics and Art. None of this would have been possible without the many dedicated students, faculty, and staff supporting the natural and space sciences here at CU. Not only in person, but also through the challenges of remote and hybrid learning over the last few years. And so that brings us to today, May 6th, 2022, the sky under which we celebrate the ending of one chapter and the beginning of the next. I'm so thankful to have the many wonderful experiences with such passionate peers and mentors in the APS department. I'm also excited that the next incoming classes of astronomy students will be able to open their own college careers with their own solar eclipses, which will be passing through the US in 2023 and 2024. I think it's important to try to find wonder and connection in the world wherever we can. So I definitely encourage everyone to try to catch one of these events in the coming years. I'd like to end the same way one of my favorite educational podcasts always concludes. Remember, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be lighted. And so with that, thank you all so much, and congrats, graduates.
I'd now like to invite to the stage our Associate Chair for Undergraduate Studies, Professor Seth Hornstein, who will present our undergraduate diplomas.
Thank you, Nils. So as Professor Halverson said, my name is Seth Hornstein. I'm the Undergraduate Associate Chair. I'm pleased to be able to call up the graduating students in the Astrophysical and Planetary Sciences graduating class. As you may or may not be aware, because of the size of our graduating class and the desire to use this amazing facility, we've split our commencement into 2 days. So not everyone listed in your program will be called today. Students, when your name is called, please come up and receive your diploma from Dr. Halverson. Pause for a moment so your parents can document your accomplishment, and then you'll have the opportunity to say a few brief words if you wish, and then go down and retake your seat. Parents, please feel free to come up as close as you'd like to get your picture. It's dark in here. Don't be the one parent with that really blurry, grainy picture of somebody who might be your loved one getting their diploma. Now, many of you know that for the last 20, or feels like 22 years, we've all been dealing with the various implications of the COVID-19 pandemic. And because of that, our graduation ceremonies for the past 2 years have been held virtually on Zoom. This year, we wanted to give the opportunity for those who have graduated in the past 2 years to have their moment of glory and be recognized. So before we get to the class of 2022, it is my pleasure to call those recent graduates Recent graduates, if you'd line up along the back wall for me, please. Now, while they're doing that, I have a bit of explaining to do. Some of you eagle-eyed parents may have noticed that your loved ones did not walk in the order you might have expected, or the order they were listed in the program. In 2018, there was a nationally recognized study that came out of the CU Department of Economics that found that students whose names were at the front of the alphabet tend to be recognized more and even have more success in life due to our tendency to alphabetize nearly everything in our life, from where you sit in the classroom, to when you get to go up and get food at the buffet, to even when you get your diploma. So today, to even the playing field, for those folks who suffer from what they deemed in the paper alphabetical injustice, we're going to go in reverse alphabetical order. Which makes our first graduate from the spring of 2021 our own Brittney Washington.
I have a lot to say, but I graduated from 2 other departments, and APS by far has been the better part, if not best part of my journey here at CU. So thank you to my family for always supporting me through it all, but especially the amazing faculty here, Andrew Hamilton, Zach Thompson, but of course, Dave Brain for your endless support and patience with me. So, let's go Buffs.
Taylor Sitterson from the class of spring 2020.
I'd like to thank my family, and I'd like to thank the university for giving us this opportunity to come out and get our diplomas, even though it was 2 years ago. So, yeah, thank you all, and congrats.
Aaron Shimoda, class of spring 2020.
Well, thank you, and thank you to the APS department for letting me come back these past 2 years as a TA. It's been my favorite job, and congratulations to all my students. I know there's a couple of you out there, so thank you.
Richard Shepard, class of spring 2020. Jon Allured, class of spring 2020, graduated summa cum laude.
I'd like to thank my family and friends. Without them, this would not have been possible. So thank you very much.
Casey Davis, class of spring 2020.
I have something to say. The pursuit of this degree allowed me the recognition that I could believe in myself, and that wouldn't be possible without the incredible support, endless support and encouragement from faculty and peers. So that's all I got.
Victoria Concepcion, class of spring 2020.
I'd like to say thank you to the entire astrophysics faculty, and especially Dr. Paul Hain and Dr. Zach Thompson. Also, thank you to my entire family and also the family of my best friend, Anna Sophia. She's over there. And also thank you to Mark Johnson, who helped me in a lot of classes. But yeah, live long and prosper.
Congratulations to you all, no matter when you graduated. We're so glad you were able to come back and celebrate with us today. And with that, let's get to the class of spring 2022. Graduating students, please line up along the wall in the order that you are currently aligned. The chaos outside was palpable when I told them they had to line up in a reverse alphabetical order. I won't lie, there were a few of them we had to readjust. Linnea Volnevich.
I'd like to say thank you to my family for supporting me, faculty for always encouraging me, and also the astronomy department for providing so many opportunities to be involved in research and pursue the questions that excite me. So now I can go pursue my PhD. So thank you so much.
Moira Voltz.
I just want to thank my mom and my dad for inspiring me and always supporting me, my sister for listening to me whenever I call, and my best friends for tolerating me for the past 4 years, and my cat Mittens, who could not make it here today, but she's at home. But thank you.
Danny Vibach.
I'd like to thank my family and friends that are here supporting me today, and SCO Air Force.
Colin Sinclair.
Thanks to my family, grandparents, Gabby, grandparents on the internet, the LA program, and the Fisk Planetarium for everything.
Zaina Sheikh.
Thank you. I think we did it. Oh. Thank you. I think you guys have already probably heard me talk enough today, but thanks to everybody who couldn't be here today and are watching online, my sister and my Colombian family. Hello. Thank you so much.
Adrian Pickerel, graduating summa cum laude.
Hello. I just want to say thank you to my family, taking up a whole 2 rows right here, for being so loving and supportive of me always. I love you. And to my professors and my research advisor, Nick Schneider, for all the guidance and advice over the past 4 years. Thank you.
Anna Nika.
Okay, okay, I didn't really plan anything, but I just want to say thank you to my family for like just being always the place that I could return to no matter how crazy things got and what happened. And I want to thank my friends, all of you guys who showed up today, even if it was kind of last minute and I'm kind of disorganized. Thank you for coming. And yeah, thank you to the entire astronomy department. I feel like this is the best department at CU. Not that I'm biased or anything, but thank you.
Conrad Meyer Reed, graduating summa cum laude.
Hello. I just want to thank my friends and family for all your support. Without you, I probably would have failed multiple classes. And also to the amazing astronomy faculty. You guys are the best teachers ever. Thank you.
Heidi Kyler.
Thank you for everybody who's able to come here and support me, and for my friends, my family, and the APS department. Thank you.
Benjamin Jacob Johnston, graduating summa cum laude.
So I just want to say thank you to my family and friends, my professors, and my research groups at Jill and LASP, and especially to my amazing professors, and to, of course, Nick Schneider. You were an amazing advisor, and to Dr. Brain. I have to say that once in 5 years. I'm sorry, Dave. Thank you.
Stephen Ivey.
I'd just like to thank my family and friends and my classmates and the faculty. Without their support, I don't think I would be here today. Thank you.
William Hernandez.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to everyone at APS, all my peers, my family and friends, especially my parents. This is your accomplishment just as much as it's mine. So thank you for being here.
Rhiannon Harding.
I want to say thank you to all my friends and family and to all the amazing professors I've had here at CU.
Kevin Fell.
I'd like to thank my family for coming, and all of the faculty and students. Congrats, guys.
Benjamin Douglas.
I want to thank my parents for all your support. I want to thank Jenny for encouraging me to apply for a JPL internship even though I thought I had no chance. I want to thank Catherine for accepting me at that internship. And I want to thank all the faculty as well for being great teachers. And I also especially want to thank Paul Hain and Dave Brain for writing me some great letters of recommendation. I got into ASU, so I'll be going there for my PhD.
Brianna Dickey.
Thank you. Oh my God. Okay.
I want to thank my parents. I could not have done it without you. I love you guys so much.
James Crawley.
Hi, I just have a few people I want to thank. I'm super excited to be here. First, I want to thank my family for being so supportive. Secondly, I want to thank the incredible instructional staff for putting so much time and passion into our learning. And finally, to my colleagues and classmates for helping me find a real passion in learning. So, thank you guys.
And I believe I missed my own notes. James is graduating summa cum laude. Allie Christensen.
I just wanted to say thank you to all my friends and family here today and those who couldn't be here today. And thank you to all of those in the APS department. You guys are definitely the best, all of you. Thank you.
George Blaney.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, I'd just like to thank my my family who's here today. My mother Carolyn, my father Gary, my brother Giles, Angelica, my grandparents John and Virginia, who have flown out from Massachusetts to be here today. My other grandparents who are online, Philip and Marjorie, and my friends who are here today, Grace Edwards and Matt. Grace, Jake, and Jackson. I wouldn't have been able to get this major without doing all of the homework together. So, thanks everyone very much.
And with that, I'm proud to announce the graduating class of spring 2022. We'll do a formal group photo in front of the planetarium immediately following the ceremony. Parents, please come out to take photos as well. Now, as you've heard, completing a degree in astronomy is no easy task. All of our graduating seniors and previous graduates should be proud of their accomplishments. However, we'd also like to recognize the students who were awarded academic scholarships this academic year. Since many of the winners with these scholarships are not graduating seniors, they were unable to join us today. However, this doesn't make their accomplishments any less noteworthy. Since we aren't presenting any of these awards today, please hold your applause until the end. The Perspectives Endowment was awarded to Jackson Avery, Mackenzie Dean, and Christina Lucas. The Ben C. Parmenter Scholarship was awarded to Jun Yu Chen. The Sherpin Seal Award was given to Olivia Blevins. The Susan E. Wesley Scholarship was given to James Baldwin and Anna Pesci. And the Theodore Snow Scholarship was given to Spencer Hurt as the outstanding senior. Please join me in congratulating these students on their awesome achievements. Now, we didn't see if he was here. Neil Bassett, are you here? So finally, the APS department also awards a number of graduate fellowships each year. And I'd like to acknowledge that one of these award winners is here with us today. Neil, if you would please stand. You can stay standing. Neil Bassett is a graduate student on his way to earning a PhD in APS with Professor Jack Burns. Neil was recently awarded the Carl Hansen Memorial Fellowship, created to recognize excellence in research at the graduate level. Congratulations, Neil. Now, in a moment, I'll call Professor Halverson back to the stage for his closing remarks. But before I do so, I have two more housekeeping announcements. Summers Bausch Observatory, just up the hill behind the planetarium, will be open after the ceremony for you graduates who would like to take your parents up, some of you to show them where you spent many, many long hours. And for everyone, the telescopes will be open tonight, weather permitting, at 8:30 for a special open house for graduates and their families only. So please join us if you're available and if the skies are clear. So with that, I'll call back up Professor Halverson.
This concludes our ceremony for today. Thank you so much to all of you, our guests, our parents and loved ones of our graduates. You make this all so special and worthwhile for us. Students and faculty, as Dr. Hornstein said, will meet right out in front of Fisk after this to do a group picture, and parents, you're welcome out there too to take your own photos. There's a reception in the lobby, so please stay around for that. And guests, please allow the faculty and graduate students to exit before you exit. So congratulations to the classes of 2022 and 2021 and 2020.